At Omnicom, I would say our clients are very invested in the transition to CTV. And I think that as an industry, particularly on the supply side, they underestimate how invested advertisers are. And they underestimate advertiser expectations for the CTV space, as is evidenced by how they package their advertising in the CTV space. So at Omnicom, we really focus on bringing the clients in early, particularly for 22-23. We're already in the midst of planning for that upfront, and we have new tools that we've rolled out that acknowledge that CTV and streaming is an equal partner to linear television. We're not planning linear first for the first time, which is a major milestone, I will say, as the industry progresses. So we are planning total video with our clients, hand in glove. They're along for the ride. They understand the changes. They understand the significance of moving away from a people-based, human panel-based type of currency and model. And we're moving really aggressively toward households and understanding how devices and larger data sets connect at the household level to make these budget decisions with our clients. And so far, the conversations have been very receptive at the client level. They are on board and wanting to move as fast as we can move in the industry to do this because they recognize the challenges. They know exactly what happened in the last upfront. They know exactly what's happening in linear ratings. They are paying attention and they're aware, and they're pretty pleased that we are taking them down the path. And I'm pleased at Omnicom that we can do it, that we made the effort, and it was no small lift. It was very hard to do. And we're very excited to roll out these tools for our strategy teams for 22-23.
Yeah, great. Now, Omnicom was one of the first companies talking about sort of kind of core challenges with CTV, including and especially duplicated reach, and as a result, over-targeting consumers, too much frequency. Since you guys started sort of discussing this issue maybe 3 years ago, has progress been made? Has the issue gotten worse?
So with the ever-shrinking linear viewership, obviously those who tune in to live television and who subscribe to traditional cable, those households are skewing older, wealthier, and they also watch a lot of live TV. So the reality of frequency in linear is it's actually getting worse. It's not going to get better. You're going to hit those households quite a few times, whether you want to or not. It's very difficult to control. So the way we are looking at it at Omnicom, particularly in light of our new tool set, is we're really focused on total video budget, and where we flatline in linear, really starting to move those budgets aggressively toward the digital allocation. And that's what the tool really does. So we really think that frequency as a result is going to be addressed because the spend is going to move into digital more aggressively for 22-23. We will see, because we do actually have unique cross-screen insights tools via our Omni platform that we are heavily partnered with VideoAmp to deliver. They provide the linear data set that we're using to join with our digital data set. So we've got a unique perspective on how that's happening and what we're going to do about it. So that those two things are kind of front end, back end. Here's the plan. Here's how we're going to measure the plan, and we think we're going to see much better results coming in 22-23 as a result of being able to do this for the first time.
So with bringing together so many different systems to buy CTV inventory, like there's a little bit of a standards problem. I think you guys have an initiative around that too.
We do. We have a CTV standards initiative. Just rolls off the tongue, but I think the entire industry would agree with what we're asking for, and we're just asking them to sign on and move forward. And everyone's using buzzwords like interoperable and currency, and there are all of these things floating around. Standards really get us there. If we really focus on the basics, the blocking and tackling, what is an impression? How long does something have to be on the screen to count as an impression in streaming? Would be great to know. Great as an industry to set that standard. It would be great to know how we're all managing reach and frequency. Are we doing it at the household level? We feel that that's the only thing we can do with accuracy right now. But there's a lot of there's a lot of things out there in the ether about people-level planning for streaming, which I find fascinating because the data sets really don't exist to support that at this stage. There's no way to say that this is a person in front of a CTV device, so I'm curious how those solutions are really going to play out over time, especially given the the magnitude of what a consumer can watch and the different devices they can watch it on. It's going to get increasingly challenging to use a human-based panel to do it, which is why I think everyone is talking about moving away from people, moving into devices, moving into households, and really leaning into the larger data sets to determine how we're going to go forward as an industry. And we certainly feel like that is the right path right now, and we're pursuing that aggressively with our tool sets.
Yeah, that speaks to a change that's happened in the larger kind of addressable advertising space, where longtime practitioners like yourself are acknowledging like the limits and the necessity of compromising, not only around things like what's measurable, but also in the area of privacy, what should be done.
What should be done. Let's be practical and let's be responsible.
Yeah.
I think those are the two key principles, right? If you are practical and you're responsible, you will get things done. And so that's what we've decided to do, and we're moving forward with it. And clients are extremely receptive and pleased with the progress that we've made. And we hope to bring the industry along with us. You know, everyone's got to do this together. It can't just be us out there. So we're really hoping that with the standards initiative, people start to align and sign on.
You were dissing buzzwords a minute ago, but I couldn't help but hear you mention the word currency.
My favorite buzzword.
Talk about multi-currency.
Multi-currency. So at Omnicom, we believe a currency is something you transact with. It is not measurement. It is what you are paying for. And so we want to make sure that we have at least 3 options going forward, at least 3. More might be a bit much if we're honest from an operational perspective. We're not going to reconcile across 10 currencies. We need to be practical, as I said. We need to be reasonable and practical, and we think 3 is a very reasonable number that supports enough competition in the industry to keep everyone innovating and moving forward, but also keeps things realistic and on point, and lets our operational teams do what they need to do to make sure that everyone gets paid and advertising is served.